Today, I'm diving into something that sounds a bit like a cyber spy movie plot, but is actually a crucial topic for anyone running a website: cross-site scripting, commonly known as XSS. Let's break it down in simple terms and see why it's something you really need to know about. Imagine you're at a party and you've got a name tag on. Instead of your name, someone writes a command on it, such as shout everyone's secrets aloud. Now, every time someone reads your name tag, you end up doing exactly what it says, even though it's not what you intended. That's kind of what happens in an XSS attack. Let's look at another scenario. Imagine you have a public bulletin board at a community center where people can post messages. Normally, people use it to post announcements, share news, or ask for help. However, if someone with bad intentions posts a malicious note that tricks people into giving away their personal information, it's similar to what happens in an XSS attack. Another scenario, here goes. Imagine you visit a website you trust, like a social media platform or an online store. You expect that any content you see or interact with on that site is safe. However, if the site has an XSS vulnerability, an attacker can inject harmful scripts into the website's content. When you interact with the compromised content, your browser executes the malicious script, thinking it is part of the legitimate website. In technical terms, XSS is a web security vulnerability that allows an attacker to compromise the interactions that users have with a vulnerable application. It happens when a web application uses input from a user within the output it generates without validating or encoding it. How does XSS work? By injection. An attacker finds a way to inject malicious script into a web application. This can be through a search bar, comment section, or any input field that isn't properly secured. Execution. When another user visits the affected web page, the injected script executes in their browser. Damage. The script can perform various harmful actions such as stealing cookies, logging keystrokes, or redirecting the user to a malicious site. Now, why should you care? Let's talk about some of the recent cross-site scripting attacks. The Twitter incident of 2019. A stored XSS vulnerability was found that allowed attackers to inject malicious JavaScript into tweets. The PayPal incident of 2020. A reflected XSS vulnerability in the PayPal user account settings page allowed attackers to inject malicious scripts. The WordPress plugins incident of 2021. Several popular WordPress plugins were found to have XSS vulnerabilities, allowing attackers to inject malicious scripts. These scripts created rogue administrator accounts and inserted backdoors into websites, putting millions of websites at risk. The Twitch chat incident of 2018. A Twitch streamer's chat application was hacked live due to an XSS vulnerability. Viewers exploited the vulnerability to inject scripts, turning the stream into a hacking contest. MySpace Sammy worm incident of 2005. A hacker created a worm that spread rapidly across MySpace by exploiting an XSS vulnerability. The worm added over 1 million friends to the hacker's account in less than 24 hours. Types of cross-site scripting. So reflected XSS. This type occurs when the malicious script is reflected off a web server, such as in an error message or search result. The script is part of the URL and is executed when the user clicks on a malicious link. Example, an attacker sends you a link to a search page on a website. The link includes a script that runs when you open it, stealing your session cookies. Stored XSS. This involves storing the malicious script on the target server, such as in a database. When users retrieve the stored information, the script runs in their browsers. Example, an attacker posts a malicious comment on a blog. Every time someone views the comment, the script runs, potentially stealing their login information. DOM-based XSS. This type occurs when the vulnerability is in the client-side code rather than the server-side code. The script is executed as the page processes data from the user. Example, a website uses JavaScript to display user input without proper sanitization. An attacker can manipulate the input input to execute a script. So how do you protect your site? Input validation and sanitization. Ensure that all user inputs are validated and sanitized to remove any harmful content. Use libraries or frameworks that automatically escape input data. Example, HTML escaping. Content Security Policy or CSP. Implement CSP headers to restrict the sources from which scripts can be loaded. This helps mitigate the impact of an XSS attacker. Output encoding. Encode data before displaying it in the browser. This prevents the browser from interpreting the data as executable code. Security libraries and tools. Utilize security libraries and tools that help identify and mitigate XSS vulnerabilities such as OWASP's anti-SAMI and Microsoft's anti-XSS. Regular security audits. Conduct regular security audits and penetration tests to identify and fix vulnerabilities before attackers can exploit them. HTTP only cookies. Use HTTP only flags on cookies to prevent client-side scripts from accessing them. Web application firewalls or WAF. Deploy WAFs to detect and block malicious traffic before it reaches the web application. Awareness and proactivity are key in cybersecurity. Remember, the digital world is like a continuous game of cat and mouse between security experts and hackers. By staying informed and prepared, you ensure you're not the weakest link in the chain. Stay safe out there and keep learning. Thank you for watching. Catch you in the next video.